Have you ever wondered how true confidence is sometimes found not in action, but in calm, silent strength? Imagine unlocking a quiet power within you, one that lets you detach with love and dignity while drawing others toward your inner peace. In this journey, you'll discover the secret art of Stoic feminine confidence. Detach with love and dignity, quiet Stoic confidence, compiled and published by Stoic Bloom. Lesson 1. Recognize emotional attachments without judgment. Imagine standing alone beneath a boundless night sky, your thoughts swirling around you like gentle constellations waiting to be named. Each star is an emotion, some burning bright with longing or fear, some quietly distant, exerting an invisible pull but never quite touching you. In this sacred moment, you are not what you feel, but the observer, the silent archer who stands steady, holding her arrow and deciding with poise where and whether to aim. This posture is the beginning of mastery and for many, the dawn of a profound inner power. Yet most days, our reality feels very different. Emotional currents tug relentlessly at our inner anchor. A careless word from a loved one, the sharp pang of disappointment, or a memory that refuses to release its grip. We brace ourselves as each wave washes over us, drowning out clarity and replacing it with confusion or shame. So many women, striving for self-control and unwavering confidence, quietly wonder why their hearts betray them, why certain attachments loom so large, dictating mood, decisions, and even identity. The mind becomes restless, tugged between regret for the past and anxiety for the unknown, wishing simply to feel calm, whole, undisturbed. This experience breeds an almost silent struggle inside. It is the struggle to judge ourselves for caring too much, for holding on too tightly, for reacting when we wish we could remain tranquil. The pain point is not in feeling attachment, but in fearing its power over us. It is easy to mistake emotional sensitivity for weakness, or to despise ourselves for not being able to let go as simply as others seem to do. We imagine confidence as a wall, something to build thick and high between our hearts and the world, when in fact, attempting to mute or destroy our feelings only amplifies their hold on us. What if the real secret was not to fight these attachments head-on, nor to shame yourself for your emotional depth, but to witness them gently, bravely, without judgment, as you would observe starlight in the night? That is the transformative doorway this lesson invites you to step through. To recognize your attachments is not to become them, nor to surrender to their sway, but simply to notice, without immediately placing a verdict on what you find. This gentle attention is the still flame that begins the alchemy of emotional mastery. Think of a ship's captain, navigating silent seas by the unwavering compass of her own awareness. When fog obscures the stars and the waters grow restless, she neither fights the darkness nor curses the unpredictable winds. Instead, she becomes especially present, her attention attuned, her grip on the helm patient and soft. You too can become such a captain for your own inner experience. The act of noticing your attachments, how your mood shifts when a particular person comes near, or how a certain thought tugs insistently at your peace, grants you space, a breath of distance between stimulus and response. In that sacred space, potential is unlocked. You move from being overwhelmed by emotion toward becoming intimate with it, understanding its shape, its whisper, and its transient nature. Judgment clouds this process, turning vulnerability into self-condemnation, but recognition without judgment is itself a quiet act of love. Such awareness is the heartbeat of Stoic confidence, the undefeatable serenity that arises when you look upon your attachments, not as enemies to be vanquished, nor as weaknesses to be hidden, but as wise messengers heralding what truly matters to your heart. This may sound simple, but it takes courage, humility, and trust in the inner process. With practice, you'll find your emotions no longer command you like fierce winds at sea, but instead inform and empower your journey with depth and wisdom. Your attention becomes a skillful archer's hand, steady even as longing or sorrow circles close, aware that the true mark of mastery is not never feeling the pull, but never forgetting your power to remain, observe, and choose gently how to respond. You become like the silent Stoic, her value not rooted in noisy proclamations or dramatic gestures, but in how she meets herself fully and kindly, moment by moment, without fear or shame. Here begins the lasting art of emotional self-mastery, and it all starts with the simple, revolutionary act of compassionate recognition. Pause and observe your emotions as they arise, letting them pass like clouds without trying to change or judge them. Make this a daily practice. Each time you reflect in this way, you'll build soft inner strength and clarity. With gentle awareness, notice patterns and celebrate each small victory in remaining present. In time, this practice brings resilience, peace, and undeniable self-respect. As you embark on this journey, remember that accepting what is with calm presence paves the way for the next lesson, embracing reality with inner stillness. If this lesson resonates, support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing to share your growth with others and continue learning. Lesson 2. Accept reality with inner stillness. Visualize yourself as a mountain, unwavering and silent, catching the rising sun in the very first moments of dawn. The world around you teems with motion. Winds sweep through the valleys below, and clouds tumble overhead, but at your core is a profound stillness that nothing disrupts. This silent power within is not made of stone, but of acceptance. Many seek strength by resisting reality or longing for a different landscape. Yet the unshakable mountain draws its strength from simply standing as it is, refusing neither the storm nor the gentle golden light. This peaceful inner ground is available to each one of us, and contrary to what the world often demands, begins with the gentle willingness to accept life on its own terms, just as a mountain receives both rain and shine. In the currents of daily life, the struggle for inner stillness and acceptance is real and often quietly overwhelming. Perhaps you find yourself tossing like a small boat on unpredictable waves, forever hoping the winds of circumstance will finally shift in your favor. The conflict is universal. So much of our restlessness comes from fighting against what cannot be changed, resisting emotions that feel inconvenient, or wishing people could be other than they are. There's a pull inside. If only things were different, then I'd feel peace. But reality answers in a resolutely calm voice, reminding us that peace is not the result of outer perfection, but of deep inner harmony. In our quest to master our emotions and become truly undefeatable, we discover that resisting what is, wishing, battling, denying, exhausts us. The mind becomes consumed by frustration, fear, and disappointment, tangled up in a storm that seems endless. Underneath this struggle, the pain point is sharp and familiar. We find ourselves thinking, if only I could get past this disappointment or erase this heartbreak, then I could focus, feel confident, and reclaim my joy. But reality doesn't bend under the weight of our resistance. The world keeps spinning its complex dance. Friends and loved ones make their own choices, and circumstances rarely yield fully to control. This tension can leave your spirit split, always striving for a life that feels just out of reach. The craving for certainty or a smoother journey, the hope for people to behave according to our script, or the desire for instant inner calm. All of these drive us further from the true peace we yearn for. If we persist in this interior struggle, our strength leaks away like water through open hands. Yet, there is a profound solution that may seem simple, but is enormously transformative. Acceptance, practiced with inner stillness. Imagine what it feels like to withdraw your energy from the battle with reality, setting down the heavy burden of should be, and receiving instead the strange, sacred gift of what is. Acceptance, in this sense, is not passive surrender or indifference, but a vibrant, conscious choice to meet your circumstances as they are, moment by moment. In the ancient teachings of Stoicism, such acceptance is considered the foundation of true emotional power, a skill that unlocks resilience, self-mastery, and a luminous inner peace that cannot be shaken from the outside. When you practice acceptance with true stillness, you become like the disciplined archer, no longer wasting effort on arrows fired at the impossible or the invisible. Instead, you hold your bow gently, surveying the field as it is, perfect in its reality, and wait for the right moment with unhurried poise. This shift from struggle to acceptance softens fear, dissolves restlessness, and invites a quiet confidence into your life. It becomes possible to respond wisely, to grow stronger after setbacks, and to enjoy life more deeply because you are not fixated on what could be, but engaged fully, gratefully with what is. As ancient as the mountain and as fresh as this very moment, true acceptance with inner stillness is a discipline that transforms frustration into freedom, making your strongest self not only possible, but inevitable. Take a few moments each day to sit quietly and welcome all that is present, allowing every feeling and event to simply exist. This practice nurtures calm, self-trust, and grounded strength within you. Start today and notice inner ease growing. Next, we will explore how setting respectful boundaries restores your power. Don't forget to share your thoughts and subscribe for more. Lesson 3. Set boundaries that reflect self-respect. Picture a serene garden at dawn, dew clinging to every leaf, each blossom shining quietly in its own space. There is balance in this untouched morning. Delicate flowers stand apart from thick hedges, tiny streams curl gently around rooted trees. The garden flourishes not by chance, but by clear lines drawn between that which nurtures and that which would crowd or choke the fragile green life within. You are this garden. The terrain of your heart, mind, and spirit is at its healthiest when protected by strong, living boundaries. This isn't a wall, just as a gardener's fence is not meant to imprison, but to safeguard what is rare and worthy. Reflect on how this image stirs something deep inside, an ancient sense that you too are meant not just to survive, but to thrive within safe, loving limits. Yet in life, especially for women seeking mastery of emotion and self-discipline, honoring our own boundaries is fraught with conflict. Consider how often your sense of self becomes eclipsed by the swirling weather of others' expectations or demands. Perhaps you felt the silent ache of saying yes when you yearned to say no, or found your energy scattered by the endless needs of those around you. Where does the garden end and the wild, pressing world begin? The conflict is all too familiar. We are praised for caring, for being generous, for smoothing the path for others, but rarely are we taught the sacred skill of protecting the precious space of our own well-being. Maybe you have abandoned your own peace to avoid displeasing someone you care about. Maybe you have shrunk your own voice, muffled your inner fire, so as not to make waves or face judgment. Afterward, the tiredness inside is palpable and often joined by guilt or self-doubt. This is the pain point that every strong, thoughtful woman faces. Boundaries, when ignored or weak, do not make us kinder or more loved. They make us depleted and resentful, hidden from our own true power. Without clear lines rooted in self-respect, emotions become chaotic and hard to rein in, leading to overwhelm, bitterness, or emotional volatility. People and circumstances can start to command us, rather than the other way around. Every time our no feels like a betrayal, or every time we surrender time or energy we cannot spare simply to maintain the peace, we offer up pieces of ourselves. The dream of calm strength and stoic impact fades. We mistakenly believe that refusing others risks losing love or approval, unaware that true attachment is healthiest when it respects mutual sovereignty. Here lies the seed of a life-altering solution. Boundaries, honestly and gently set, become the very pillars of self-mastery. Think of yourself as an accomplished archer, drawing a clear line in the sand before focusing her gaze on a worthy, chosen mark. This practice is both ancient and deeply wise, echoing through the lives of all those who stand quietly, yet firmly, in their own truth. The act of communicating and maintaining healthy boundaries signals, to others and to yourself, that your well-being is valuable, non-negotiable, and at the core of your emotional power. With each healthy boundary, you train your mind to respect its own limits and in turn earn the respect of those around you. Life begins to flow with more order, more clarity, and more effortless warmth, rather than constant negotiation or defensiveness. Boundaries crafted with self-respect do not repel the right people away. Instead, they attract and draw forth deeper mutual respect, ease, and authentic intimacy. There is no fear attached, not even when others push, plead, or attempt to intrude. The disciplined soul learns to say no with the same gentle authority as the captain of a ship who, seeing impending rocks beneath the surface, calmly steers her vessel to safer waters. In this, there is a sense of strength that is undefeated by circumstance, an unshakable inner stance that lets you live with both love and freedom. When you train yourself in this art, the wild energy that once worked against you is turned into focused, living power. You grow increasingly adept at deciphering which seeds to plant, which to let pass by, and when to nourish them. The inner garden you tend flourishes, an oasis from which your undisturbed joy and silent confidence naturally flow. Start by naming your limits, then practice calmly expressing them in everyday situations. Each time you'll notice your inner confidence and sense of peace expanding. With repeated practice, boundaries become empowering rather than frightening. This new clarity leads to richer relationships. Up next, discover how gently letting go of control over others' choices empowers your own journey. Follow, like, and share your insights below. Lesson 4. Release control over others' choices. Imagine holding a beautiful bird in the palm of your hand at sunrise. Its feathers flutter softly beneath your fingers, alive with color and warmth, trembling with the instinct to fly. You long to keep it close, to shield it from storms, to guide its path across the open sky. But you know the truth deep down. The more tightly you hold, the more its wildness fades, and the music of its wings dies in the hush of confinement. This stirring image captures the heart of a deep personal struggle, one that plays out quietly inside all of us who desire to master our emotions and build silent yet profound inner confidence. The yearning to help, to protect, and sometimes to influence what others do reveals both a loving spirit and an aching vulnerability. In everyday life, a familiar conflict emerges whenever you watch someone you care for make choices you would not make for them. Perhaps you see a friend stepping repeatedly into unhealthy patterns, or a loved one turning away from the advice that would heal and help. You watch with clenched heart, silently mapping out better paths and safer routes. This ache isn't selfish, it comes from love, concern, or hope for another's happiness. You may try offering guidance, subtle hints, or even gentle pressure, believing your perspective could spare someone from disappointment or pain. Yet often, your efforts are quietly resisted or even misunderstood, leaving you frustrated and emotionally depleted. Instead of peace, a cycle of guilt and anxiety unfolds, tainting the wellspring of your own serenity. This is a crossroads where the pain of misplaced effort and the longing to help can cloud your inner landscape. Many women, in particular, feel deeply responsible for maintaining order, harmony, or happiness in the lives of others. There arises a hidden fear that if you step back, things will unravel, or people you love will drift away or come to harm. Emotional energy scatters in the desire to fix or direct, robbing you of the grounded, impactful presence that comes from trusting yourself and respecting the freedom of others. The cost, though subtle, is tangible. Constant internal tension, stretched patience, and the silent erosion of joy. Trying to steer another's journey not only weighs you down, it builds invisible walls in your connection. For true closeness is possible only between free spirits. The solution, as timeless as it is transformative, is to gently release the urge to control other people's choices, returning instead to the steady center of your own self-mastery. This step is neither abandonment nor indifference. It is an active, conscious extension of love and trust, rooted in the deep understanding that every person must steer their own vessel across life's seas. Picture yourself as a ship's captain, focused on her own helm with composed confidence, even as other ships sail in unexpected directions around her. She can sound her horn, offer guidance, or adjust her own course, but always remembers that she is the master of only one ship, her own soul. This mindset shift is gentle but radical. It asks that you recognize where your influence truly lies, within your own choices, responses, and boundaries. Instead of anxiously reaching to direct the winds for someone else, you return that energy inward, becoming unfazed when others wander or diverge. There is immense freedom and power in this, for as you let go of the need to manage another's path, your own emotional stability becomes undefeatable. Your mind grows clearer, and your heart becomes lighter. Adopting this approach doesn't shut the door on meaningful influence. In fact, it makes your wisdom more magnetic, your presence more attractive in its self-contained peace. In this practice, you truly unlock the artistry of emotional control. Inspire rather than impose, encourage rather than direct. Always inviting, never demanding. The result is a deeper respect from others, greater inner tranquility, and an expanded capacity to love without fear or exhaustion. Such release, ancient and fresh every time you practice it, forms the still fire of a silent Stoic, radiant, steady, and unfazed by the ways of the world. Practice pausing before reacting to others' decisions, gently returning focus to your own emotions and responses. This habit refreshes your energy, deepens respect in relationships, and brings liberating peace. Begin now, release tension and trust each journey. Next, we'll reclaim your calm through the gentle art of letting go. Share your experience below and subscribe to stay on this path together. Lesson 5. Reclaim peace through gentle detachment. Picture a peaceful lake at dawn, mist curling along the glassy water and only the lightest breeze gliding over the surface. Beneath this calm exterior, countless streams converge and drift away, yet nothing disturbs the gentle stillness that reigns above. In this serenity, one can sense a quiet majesty, the power to remain composed as the world moves restlessly in every direction. There is wisdom in this image, a promise that true freedom and peace are not found by resisting every ripple, but by cultivating the subtle art of gentle detachment. Yet for many striving for emotional empowerment and self-mastery, the lake of their heart may feel endlessly churned up by every disturbance. And the prospect of detachment can sound impossibly distant. Within daily life, this struggle for tranquility echoes in countless small moments. You may find your thoughts consumed by worry after a passing comment, or feel your entire mood darken under the shadow of someone else's criticism. It is common to become tightly entangled in the expectations, actions, or judgments of others, each incident stirring the waters within until it becomes hard to find clarity or rest. Women, in particular, are often raised to equate care and attentiveness with constant emotional investment, silently taking on the burdens, disappointments, and triumphs of those around them, as if each belonged entirely to themselves. Over time, this attachment weighs heavily, leaving you tired, anxious, or caught in never-ending cycles of reactive emotion. This brings us to the real pain point, when your peace becomes hostage to circumstances you cannot control or to people whose feelings seem to dictate your own. It feels as though every message, every interaction, every shifting tide in relationships has the power to shake your internal world. For those who have adopted the quiet, stoic aim of gentle mastery, this can be deeply discouraging, leading to self-doubt, or even the belief that lasting calm is out of reach. How can one possibly remain serene in a world so full of unpredictable storms? The mind grows restless, seeking ways to shield itself or control events, only to discover that the force of attachment crowds out the very sanctuary you yearn for. The solution, while subtle, carries immense transformative power. Reclaiming peace through the gentle practice of detachment. This is not coldness, nor a withdrawal from life or love, but the learning to hold experiences softly, like the lake reflecting sky and cloud, without trying to capture either. Gentle detachment is a skillful art, one where you observe your own emotional waves, yet allow them to rise and fall without losing your center. Instead of clutching at every feeling or getting swept away by every emotional current, you begin to witness them as passing events on the surface, with your deeper self untouched and sturdy below. Adopting this perspective is both ancient and life-renewing. Throughout the wisdom of the Stoics, gentle detachment has been celebrated as the path to unshakable freedom and impact. A choice to engage with life sincerely, yet not lose yourself in the undertow of circumstances beyond your control. Think of the disciplined archer, purposeful in her stance, who recognizes the wind but does not let it unsteady her aim. She breathes deeply, draws back the bow, and releases with grace, trusting her skill but letting go of all that she cannot command. As you bring this mindset into your own days, you will notice energy returning and clarity blossoming, even where confusion once reigned. It is in this letting go, not of care, but of the compulsive need to absorb or influence every outcome, that your emotional mastery quietly and powerfully takes root. Whenever strong emotions rise, pause and name them, visualizing each as passing clouds across your inner sky. Gently shift your focus to deep breaths and present sensations. This simple act brings renewed calm, clearer thinking, and restores your power. Practice daily, your peace will deepen. In our next lesson, discover how to love without possessiveness, and share your reflections below. Lesson 6. Cultivate love without possessiveness. Picture yourself standing in a sunlit orchard, surrounded by ancient trees whose branches stretch freely and bear sweet, abundant fruit. Birds perch upon the limbs, singing, each one coming and going as it pleases, untroubled and unclaimed. The fruit is savored widely, not because the orchard's keeper cages the trees or demands a ransom for their beauty, but because she tends the roots lovingly and lets the branches reach toward the sky. The richest, most lasting harvest grows where roots are strong and freedom flourishes. This image, graceful yet deeply powerful, is the essence of love without possessiveness. It invites us to ask, what happens when love is a sanctuary, not a cage? Yet, beneath the golden promise of love, many wrestle with a tension that seldom finds a voice. The more deeply we care, the more fiercely a quiet fear or need to grasp sneaks into our hearts. Attachment, with all its warmth, sometimes weaves invisible threads of expectation, anxiety, or ownership through our affections. Have you ever felt that subtle surge of jealousy when someone you cherish shares joy or closeness with another? Or caught yourself quietly worrying that letting loved ones wander too far might mean losing your bond altogether? You are not alone in this. In the silent spaces between affection and attachment, a very real inner struggle takes shape. One where nurturing, healthy love bumps against the shadow of possessiveness. This inner conflict is all too human. You wish to hold dear those you love, to offer your energy or support, to feel connected and needed. Yet, love that leans too far into control or fear inevitably becomes heavy, not just for the one you love, but for yourself. The discomfort of keeping people close through expectation, guilt, or need can create a tautness in the heart and a deep restlessness in your mind. Instead of warmth and openness, your affection becomes tinged with anxiety, insecurity, or even resentment. No matter how well you hide it, this hidden tension can crowd out the gentle grace of trust, leaving you feeling both responsible for others' happiness and locked in a cycle of worry. But what if there were a way to nurture bonds as deep as they are free? The transformative truth is that real, lasting connections flourish best when they breathe. Stoic wisdom and modern emotional mastery agree. True love is sustained, not by the tightness of your grip, but by the spaciousness of your spirit. The solution lies in cultivating a love that is rooted, yet never entangled, a way of being that honors the independence of each soul while offering support, encouragement, and acceptance without strings. Imagine approaching the ones you love as that orchard keeper, tender with your care, but thrilled to see how the branches reach their fullest height when unbound. To put this philosophy into practice is both ancient and immediately accessible. It shifts your focus away from seeking security through control and helps you train your mind to meet your fears with trust, your longing with appreciation, and your doubts with gratitude for what already is. Living this way leads not just to peaceful relationships, but also to a powerful, undefeated inner self. One who is deeply attractive because she loves authentically and wholly, never driven by need or desperation. You free yourself from the pressure of trying to guarantee the future of your connections and gently open to love as a dynamic, ever-giving state, mirroring the silent Stoic, unfazed by insecurity, radiant with quiet strength. Over time, people will feel safer and more drawn to the peace and possibility you offer, and your love itself will become a force that grows, uplifts, and never constricts. Whenever you feel possessiveness or anxiety arise, pause and silently bless the freedom of those you love. Practice gratitude for the connection itself rather than trying to control its form. Over time, you will feel more peace, warmth, and authentic joy in your relationships. Next, discover how to walk away with quiet strength. share, subscribe, and join the conversation below. Lesson 7. Walk away with quiet strength. Envision a lone traveler at daybreak, stepping foot onto a glistening path that winds through a field thick with dew. Shafts of sunlight pierce the morning mist, illuminating the journey ahead in warm golden hues. The traveler's posture is upright, steps calm, gaze settled on the horizon, but more striking than anything is the serenity of her presence. There's no flurry in her motion, no visible trace of regret in her eyes, only the noble restraint of one who knows both when and how to let go. In this graceful act lies a subtle, almost mystical power, the kind that electrifies a room, not through volume, but through an unyielding, silent confidence. Walking away with quiet strength is not about surrender or defeat, but about honoring what is true and whole within yourself. The need for this kind of poise is sharply felt at transition points in life. The end of relationships, moving on from friendships that have gone cold, stepping away from toxic patterns, or simply outgrowing environments that stifle your spirit. The challenge is living these thresholds without noise, self-betrayal, or uncontrolled reaction. Why, you may wonder, is walking away, or even contemplating it, so layered with fear, doubt, and turmoil? Many find themselves wrestling with guilt over disappointing others, worrying about how their departure will be perceived, or second-guessing their own decisions long after the moment has passed. It's easy to become gripped by uncertainty. What if I regret this? What if I am left alone? Am I strong enough to choose myself quietly in a world that often praises compliance? This cuts straight to a very real and persistent human pain point. Letting go usually demands more courage and self-control than any dramatic confrontation ever could. Instead of the power to change another or compel the world around you, you are called to summon the power to return fully to yourself. Without discipline, unresolved ties continue pulling at your heart and mind, muddying your direction and draining your emotional reserves. The guilt for leaving, combined with the anxiety of standing alone, creates a storm of self-doubt that threatens inner peace. Sometimes the mind torments itself with what-ifs. Sometimes the body seems almost paralyzed at the edge of freedom. The longing for certainty in outcomes becomes a barrier to decisive action and dignified departure. The way through this storm is the cultivation of silent, stubborn strength. The ability to walk away not in spite of your feelings, but with them acknowledged and gently mastered. This approach is born of emotional maturity, where sensitivity is honored but does not write your story. Consider the unwavering Stoic. Her power does not depend on the approval of others or the right circumstances, but radiates from the still fire she tends within. Just as an archer stands rooted, steadying her hand and releasing the string only when her aim is pure, you too are invited to practice steady inner clarity before taking the crucial step of leaving behind what is no longer right for you. To develop this kind of quiet strength, you must first train your mind to distinguish between your truth and the noise of outside opinions or lingering fears. Reflection, stillness, and self-respect lay the groundwork. Imagine being the captain of your own vessel, choosing to sail forward despite having loved the harbor you're about to leave. The decision is not rushed nor explained away. It is made in calm awareness, honoring the entirety of your journey so far, without letting the past hijack your future. In choosing to walk away with quiet strength, you unlock a life ablaze with freedom, dignity, and authenticity. Each time you honor your boundary with silence and surety, you reclaim pieces of your power, build emotional muscle, and model for others the true meaning of undefeated, unwavering self-mastery. The grace of this act is ancient, yet ever alive. It is in every sunrise step, every steady heartbeat as you embrace the unknown, and every silent triumph when you let go with both compassion and conviction. Pause and ground yourself, then clarify why you need to walk away and release unnecessary explanations. Take each step with focus and self-compassion, trusting your choice. This discipline brings freedom, renewed confidence, and lasting dignity. Start today, honor your boundaries, and celebrate each quiet victory. Your strength will grow with every step forward on your journey. Thank you for exploring this journey into Stoic confidence and compassionate boundaries. By mastering your emotions, accepting reality, and gently reclaiming your strength, you unlock a life of dignity, peace, and authentic self-worth. If these lessons resonate, please like, comment, and subscribe to support your continued growth with our community.